Hey everybody, welcome back to That Change Show. This is the debut of season 3, and the tough part with this show is I do episodes when there's a topic that I think is relevant because there's so much noise out there in the change world that really the episodes used to be weekly, but now they're sort of, hey, this is an interesting topic, so let's put a show out there. So this is the kickoff of season 3. There's probably going to be lots of AI stuff on the show this season. But this week I'm joined by Marcin Mroczkowski, who's the founder of Opt4AI. And today we're going to chat about the anti-AI sentiment and why that hype might actually be worse than the AI hype. And so, Marcin, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Hello, I'm Marcin Mroczkowski. It's a Polish surname, so it can be tricky. In short, I'm software developer for maybe 16 years now. I was the witness in many transformations when it comes to the AI and software development in general. This new transformation, AI transformation, is one of the biggest one for me. It's a very hot topic. There are many opinions. And also there are many people who have pretty radical opinions from both sides. You have AI hype, so AI will generate everything, will replace everyone, and it will be an utopia of sort. And also you have other people who say that AI is fully unethical, it cannot do anything right, you should not use it, and it's toxic for your mind and for everything it touches. So that's why we're here.
Yeah, it was interesting because there was a post that we both read. I typed about 40 comments in it and canceled every one of them because I was like, I don't want to feed this. But it was one of those typical posts that what I didn't like about it mostly was the author was promoting their course by hyping anti-AI sentiment. So basically the same things that you described is, the people that don't like AI, they might prompt it with something, it gives them a wrong answer or does a hallucination or something, whatever that is. And then immediately it's kind of that binary switch. Oh, it's terrible. And I thought it was funny, just the post. And then, oh, first comment, please join my AI workshop and I'll teach you about it. So it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But I've seen tons of that all over LinkedIn, primarily because there seems to be a lot of people posting edge cases, right? Like we've all seen things here in Canada, at least. There was a story about how one of the Air Canada AI bots gave away a free flight. And of course, the people who don't like AI goes, "Oh, well, AI is terrible. You should never use it." And it's kind of like leaping to this conclusion when I don't want to get too technical on the show today, but there's lots of stories like that, and people seem to latch onto those edge cases as opposed to
Yes.
the positive cases. So what are kind of some of the anti-AI hype things that you're seeing that is maybe more damaging than the actual hype?
It's really curious things because you have grifters on the both sides. You have AI hype grifters. So I will teach you AI coding without coding anything, and so on. So I know that it's not only from the AI hate side. It's also on the AI hype side. But it's pretty surprising that you can make money on this topic. Just just telling people that AI doesn't work. It's pretty surprising topic to make money on, but I guess it exists. And about your questions, why it's so dangerous? I think opinions like this do nothing for the people. Plain and simple, because companies will not stop with AI adoption. That they will not change any course when it comes to the big tech. When for example, I use AI every day professionally, those opinions are completely inconsequential. If you remember this post was about AI startups. That's why it rubbed me the wrong way, because I have the AI startup and I have operating solutions, and it was just hogwash to be completely honest, because you can have good solutions which do the good things. In my case, I do the call analysis because call listening is very it's a terrible job. I guess it should be replaced by AI as much as possible and as fast as possible. And when I encounter a person like this, um, I don't know really how to respond. It's so wrong, it's hard to respond. When the person says, it's just wrong, it's bad, do not use it, do not try to use it, it's really horrible opinion. The only thing that is doing, it's demoralizing people from doing it. And also, what's strange about it? For example, let's see, those people are right. AI is bad. AI is unethical. We only create terminators who do the bad things to people, and the whole thing is bad. I guess you should still know it. Just like with guns, guns are bad. Guns can kill. Maybe no one should have guns, but if they are guns, you must know them. You must know how to use them. And that exactly how I think it's dangerous, because it's demoralized normal people from using AI, from learning about AI, from knowing AI, and does nothing to the really bad side of the AI. So, for example, this AI bubble, all the invigilation from the big tech, it does nothing to it. So that's why I think it's harmful.
Yeah, one of the things we chat about with some of the change folks who are in our AI club and lean coffees and open meetups and stuff is it it it's about when they don't have predictability and certainty and have a repeatable response from it, then immediately it's, well, it's no good because I did something a year ago with, ChatGPT seems to be like the Kleenex of AI. For many people, that's what they know. They don't see AI as a whole bunch of things in the ecosystem. They just think ChatGPT, and they tend to use it like Google. So it's kind of like those old days when it was just Google and people would say, "Oh, I have to do a report to my stakeholders this Friday with a project kickoff. So I'm going to Google something and I'm going to copy and paste the first template." And I see people kind of following that same pattern with AI. Just give it something, get an answer with like a zero shot prompt or even just a single shot prompt. So it's not understanding the context. And it's sort of like we chat about, imagine you walked up to a stranger on the street, ask them a question about whatever your area of expertise is, and if they don't know it, do you say like they're bad or they're stupid or they don't understand? It's for me, it's kind of the same thing. It's without context, without thinking of AI like you would be interacting with a human to have a rich conversation, you're gonna get out what you put into it.
Yes, exactly. Usually, if you see the people's prompts, if you do the same prompt on the human, for example, you have a coworker and you give this coworker the same prompt, usually the person looking at this will say to you, you are crazy. You gave me one simple sentence and you think that I should, I don't know, give a good response to it. I need the context. Why? If, how I should do it? What materials I should use? So I guess AI has this allure of all-knowing machine, and if it's not getting to those expectations, people think that it's bad. So
Yeah,
it's not all-knowing machine.
it's almost like just the name artificial intelligence puts people's brains in a frame of mind, much like autopilot with Tesla, right? You hear that phrase autopilot, you think, oh, it can do everything. I can read a book, I can take a nap, and oops, my car just crashed into a telephone pole. So maybe people are taking that intelligence word too literally when it's really, when you really think about it, it's only going to be as good as the training. And not to get into too much technical detail, we talk a lot about when you're training a language model or you're creating an instruction set or prompts, kind of talk to it like it's a 5-year-old, right? Like, don't ever touch the stove. If you're ambiguous with what you're saying, it's not going to be exactly sure. It might try to guess, it might try to make some inference, but there's things that I think, non-technical people can do if they're using, say, Claude projects or OpenAI projects or, any of these startups that are offering chatbot and kind of no code solutions for people to use. If they learn how to write good instructions, they're going to get better responses out of it, is kind of my view.
Of course, that's true. There are many very common pitfalls.
Mm,
And I think the biggest one is the I call it tapeworm conversation. When you have disjointed conversation in many topics in one chat. I
mm,
guess that's the most important one, because LLMs do not work like humans.
mm,
LLMs cannot just dynamically clean up current memory like humans, because when we discuss some things, you know what is important, what's not important, and you retain in your memory only what's important for the
mm,
current context. LLMs cannot do this.
mm,
LLMs have this huge backlog of desperate topics all over the place, and when you ask another questions, all those topics influence inference in real time. So
mm,
you need to clean up the conversation or use some other mechanism like memory mechanism, like compaction mechanisms to fix it. But usually LLM get all the context. That's why very long conversation, usually LLM just lose the plot randomly. And people say, oh, it's not working, it loses the plot. Yes, because it has thousands of messages before, so that's why.
Yeah, it's I get to go back to the human thing. It's if you're having a conversation with someone and you're talking for 3 hours and you're talking for 3 hours and filling their head with 3 hours of content, you're not going to get a good, rich answer and response from it. I think people think just because I'm typing something into a machine, it should keep all that context and understand everything. I think Claude just released context windows of 1 million characters or something, or 1 million words. Like that is a huge thread. So for listeners, if you've seen things like this where you're chatting with whatever language model it is, if your browser starts freezing up, like scrolling starts getting slow, forget the technical stuff behind it. The brain's getting full because it's trying to remember so much context. It's trying to remember context from all the different threads you've had because now they all have certain types of memory and stuff like that. And you might just have to start over. So I chatted with one group about using the Men in Black stick for people who've seen the movie where they walk up to people and they erase the memory. It's you have to learn how to interact with it to get the most out of it.
Yes,
You can't you can't
it's
just
a great
assume.
analogy. It's a
Yeah,
great analogy. I just want to interrupt you because that's a great analogy. It's
yeah.
exactly like this with LLMs. They just lose all the information if they have no context. It's exactly like you just clean the memory of the human in black.
Yeah, yeah. So when you're working with companies, because I know you do AI training and AI strategy assistance with companies and stuff, what's their greatest concerns about implementing AI in their companies? Is it the capabilities of the models? Is it, MIT released a study around 95% of AI pilots fail, which I've always said I don't think that number's true, number one. And two, I think the people who try sooner, even if they don't know what they want to use it for, they're going to learn how the technology works. So they're going to be further ahead, even if the project kind of failed. So what sort of patterns are you seeing with the companies that you're working with?
I guess the main problem is safety and privacy, no, not capabilities, because usually beginner users are very stricken by the possibilities and by capabilities. They cannot induce the wrong response from LLMs because they do not know enough how to do it. That's why they, for example, paste a document and it gives great answer. So usually they are very happy with capabilities. Only later they discover that it has limitations, and companies are usually nervous about if the company will train on my data, for
Mm,
example, or private conversation or private company code maybe will be leaked out from everyone to see. So that's I guess main problem. Is it safe and private?
right, right. The funny thing about that is, for me at least, it's not entirely clear. Say if you're using any of the public models, but it's your threads with I think with all the models, Gemini, Claude, whichever ones, you can share those threads with people. But if you keep them private, um, it's not clear what does happen to your data you put into it. I'm sure it's learning from the patterns of conversations, but just for argument's sake, you upload your tax return or something crazy, which, obviously don't do that, listeners. But what do they do with that data? Is it really transparent, or have you seen or read anything about that describes what they do with it?
That's a great question, and it's the more general question than AI, because we all use cloud computing right now. We all use cloud email, for example.
Mhm.
And when you have your email, usually people do not care. They just give the full personal data in emails, and still Google or Microsoft has access to it. If the Google or Microsoft want to um, use your data and just break the agreement with you, they can do it, and they do it all the time. That's the reality. It's horrible reality, but it is. And AI, I guess, it's usually seen as unique threat, and for me, it's not a unique threat. All those services like Drive, like email, can be stolen from, and you can do nothing about it. The only thing you can do is just do not use uh, host your own email. Of course, no problem. You can do it, and also you can host your own AI. It's also not a problem, especially now when you have, for example, this NVIDIA DGX um, hardware. You can just have your private, pretty powerful model, so you can do it. So I don't see it as unique threat, because people already use the same services, the same producers of the same services with the same data. They just more afraid of AI. That's why it's so, I guess, not trusted.
Yeah, it's funny. A friend of mine works for a company where OpenAI is banned internally, so they're not allowed to use it. Uh, for same thing, data privacy concerns. And his argument is, you realize we have much more sensitive information in our hosted Salesforce, right? Like deal sizes, financials, all that stuff is in there. And I have this conversation a lot with I guess more non-technical people too, is think of it's exactly as you said. Think of any service. Think of Facebook, you know, X.com, Instagram, whatever you're putting on the internet is fair game. And I think Sam Altman has said this a few times. Uh, if any of your IP is out there, whatever language model is going to grab it. AI can't exist uh, and keep your IP private for you if it's public on the internet somewhere. And I think the conversations around whatever other hosted solutions that you're using, your data's in the cloud somewhere too. So it's really no different. I think it's uh, maybe it can be a case of if you cancel Salesforce, you can delete all your data. And you can't do that
Still,
necessarily with AI. And even then, it's going to be in a backup somewhere. But yeah, you
yeah, still, the companies must retain the customer data. For example, when you have a criminal investigation, they need to
mm,
hand out those backups. So those backups are there.
yeah,
That's
yeah. Because I guess if you kind of boil away all the noise that we see and just get to the signal, it really becomes a trust issue more than anything else. Is you have this perception that you're dealing with a cyborg or a robot, not a human relationship, and there has to be a certain level of trust. Whereas, if you're going to sign up for Salesforce, you're going to have trust in their platform because they've been doing this forever, right? For 30, 40 years. They've got good data security, they've got all that stuff. So you feel your stuff is safe. Even though every day it seems like there's a password leak or a data leak or whatever. And I don't think AI has, maybe it will never have that for people who are of a certain generation because we're not to disclose. I talk about this a lot too. Both my kids absolutely hate AI. They're both in post-secondary. My daughter is in art school, so she really hates it because obviously with all the stuff you can do with art. And my older one just thinks it's cheating. He wants to use it as a feedback mechanism or to generate practice tests. But there was a case where he was in class and the professor put up something on the screen and said, I know about 80% of you used AI to do that last assignment. And then in a future class, some of the students used AI to write an apology letter. So he showed that too. So it's kind of like I don't know if there's a barrier or there's a line where a certain generation is just never going to trust it, just because it's so different from the norm.
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know what will happen. Usually, when I see young people, They are using AI more than older people,
Mhm.
in general. And also, situation is really complicated because they are very good reasons to criticize AI.
Mhm.
And usually you have sensible people. They are criticizing what should be criticized. They telling, okay, that's cheating, that's stealing. It should not be there. That's good. But the problem begins when the people go overboard with it. So they took good criticism. For example, big tech stealing data. Yeah, that's good. That's great. It's true. It should not be like this. I know it. But then they go overboard with it and say AI is useless. So they're doing extrapolation to the so extreme degree and so absurd degree that it's hard to read. If you want to say that AI is useless, I think now it's delusional stance. If you really think that AI is useless completely, for example, LLMs, because AI, we got some, for example, character recognition. I know I guess there are no people crazy enough to say that character recognition is not useful. But when you have specific LLMs, current adoptions, and a multitude of users, if someone say that it's useless, I think it's delusional sense, delusional or completely dishonest. I don't know which one.
Yeah, because I guess if that's kind of the attitude going in, you're probably not going to take the extra care to figure out how to work with it to get better results. And you'll kind of always latch on to the negative things. I was using it to try to design the front garden at our house with my wife, who's not technical at all. And some, you'd ask it to do something and it would generate some really weird image. And right there's a negative sentiment, right? It's like it doesn't work. It's like, well, part of it is the image we put in, part of it is what we prompted, part of it is the thread was too big. So let's just delete it and start over again. Um, and I don't think, maybe some people they just don't need to, so just don't use it, right? If you're worried about privacy, stay off the internet is kind of my view in the whole thing. But I do agree, at least with one sentiment, and you mentioned it a little bit earlier with that first poster, is there's always going to be some people who just try to take advantage on both sides of the equation, right? There's going to be
Yes.
people that want to create, you know, it's the 15 minutes of fame cash grab scenario, right? If I build a simple AI app using Lovable or one of these automatic builders that I can just put a $5 forever charge on it, even if I get 10,000 people to use that thing, I've made some money pretty easily. So I think we see that with the creator mentality. So I don't know if you watch any TikTok or YouTube or stuff. You get these creators where that's the goal is do something that is either anti hype or positive hype just to get eyeballs on content because we're making ad revenue from it and stuff like. And I think that's always going to
Yeah.
exist to a certain degree, but we're in the professional industry, right? I don't think any developer would just give AI access to their whole code repo and say and fully automate it. You always want a human to be watching to a certain degree. So if you think
Exactly.
of, yeah, um, it's not AI or human. It's AI and human, but probably with less humans. And I always hate saying that out loud, but you mentioned it earlier, right? Companies aren't going to take their foot off the gas. They see this technology as faster, better, cheaper, right or wrong. And I think the best that we can do, especially folks kind of in my audience as change agents and agile coaches and change managers, learn how to work with it. Learn.
Yes. It depends how you look at it, because I am very advanced in it. I was doing it when the first AI models were released through API, OpenAI API. It
Mhm.
was, I guess, DaVinci 2 and 3. They
Mhm.
are very early models, nothing compared to what we have here. It's complete revolution when it comes, for example, to the GPT-5 compared
Mhm.
to first version of the GPT-3. And it depends how you look at it, because when you have something which can write code according to your plan, you are an architect. You must understand that it should be there, it should be realized in this way, and okay, now you do it. And I can even argue that it's more demanding than normal coding. because when you code, you're just only doing syntax mainly. You try to code what should have business value. So you try to code it. And when you delegate coding, you have only architecture and higher level thinking. So I can argue, yes, we have a lot more coding, but we need much more architecture. So I want to do architecture more than coding. I don't know. Maybe there are coders who just want to code and never touch architecture. No problem. Do you? But I guess when you go, for example, from the coder to architect, that's a promotion, not a demotion. That's my stance on it.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like having a really good pairing partner. So if you want to make that leap from coder to architect, or you want to just stay as a coder, consider whatever AI you're using to be your pair programming partner, right? It's like you're the driver, it's the navigator. It's not always going to give you the best output. I use it for just feedback a lot. Here's what I'm thinking of doing to change the permission scheme on whatever. Here's what I have kind of set up now. And sometimes it gives me a really good technical answer that's not relevant in my context. I just ignore it, or I'll re-explain it. It's like this doesn't matter because of these reasons. And thinking of it as a thinking partner instead of an answer generator, I think can be a pretty healthy
Yes.
mindset.
Yes. Yes. AI coding critics, because that's my specialty.
Yeah.
I'm coder, so I'm observing this a lot. I
Mm,
usually do something like this: dream about functionality, give this functionality to AI, oh, do this, and then unilaterally judge if AI did a good job.
mm,
That's their process, and they judge, it's the bad job. I will do better. I will do faster. It's useless. And
mm,
when you're advanced in it, you're getting good context. You're asking, okay, we need to do this. How we can do this?
mm,
AI option 1 to 3. Oh, I like 3, but I don't like this in this 3 that we do this. All
mm,
right, so I'm cleaning the context, getting only option 3 with my corrections to the clean context, only code and other documentation in context without brainstorming before, and
mm,
only these options, concrete option with my feedback and my prompting. And usually models get it right away. Okay, this option, we just do this right here. I'm looking at
mm.
it. It's great. I'm just copying it to the coding agent, and I'm getting my drink. I don't know,
Yeah,
or something.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the much better work than, for example, sacrificing next 4 hours for pure coding, and after these 3 to 4 hours, you are done. And
Mm,
it's also very hard truth. You cannot do 8 hours of coding. You will be dead
yeah,
after 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe 4 hours if you're inhuman. So it's
yeah.
much better to delegate one coding task to the agent, if you can do it, if you know how to do it. Then
Mm,
code something, for example, much difficult for half an hour yourself, and then you have extreme productivity boost with less coding, more architecture. That's great. I
mm.
think that's a great solution, and I never see process like this sensible and practical process from AI critics. It's always it produces bad code. I'm done with it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And it's only going to give you bad code when it doesn't understand the context. And I know we've already talked about that a million times, but that's really the
Yes.
thing that matters is the context. It's like a new employee. You can't expect a new employee to be perfect with a couple hours of onboarding training. A new human employee is going to make mistakes. And what do? Well, you give them feedback, you retrain, you do other things, you mentor, you pair, you do things. And do the same thing with AI. I don't want to get into algorithms and fine tuning and all that type of stuff, but just as a quick example,
For sure.
yeah, go ahead.
Usually people think that when you have the hallucination, that's the fully on the AI side. That's the problem of the AI. AI did on level, and I always ask why this hallucination exists. And usually you can get to a reason. Usually
Hmm.
you can look at your conversation. Oh, I thought it this. Oh, I know why it go to this direction. For example, when I get the code, I'm copying the code and I'm asking, and it hallucinates about the code. What happened? I'm looking at the code, and the code is duplicated. You have big block of the dead code, which is not
Mm,
functional. It's
mm,
only trash in the context. You
mm,
remove this dead code, and it's work great. That's why I don't like when the people just say, "Oh, it hallucinated. It's bad. Throw it out." I always
yeah.
say, "Why?" Yes, that's missing. Usually critics miss it completely. The curiosity why LLM did it. They just
Mm,
say, "Oh, LLM hallucinates, it's bad,"
yeah.
without trying to even understand it. And when you understand it, then the next prompt will be better, and that's most important thing. And that's why it's so hurting for me when I try. For example, when you look at my LinkedIn, I always try to do practical. Do this, do this, do this. Don't do this because that's giving problems. And usually, when I see AI critics, they just say it's bad, don't use it. That's most horrible thing you can do to the human.
Yeah.
Tell them, do not learn it.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, it's the danger on both sides. So it's all the hey, we've got a new multi-agent orchestration system that can replace your employees. That's not entirely true. And then the AI is always bad. So it's kind of, it's almost like the same conversations of every technology wave is there's always going to be the outliers on the extreme ends. Um, find middle ground somewhere in the middle. I have a project manager agent that does a bunch of project management-y stuff, but I've trained it to say every time you do a task, tell me what you would have needed to do it better in the context of here's your goals and stuff like that. And then I take that every week or something like that, and then I'll update my instruction set and things like that. And maybe people think that's too much work. The AI should just be able to do it magically, but it's hard. It's actually the learning curve is pretty steep to do proper instructions. And I would never fully automate any new business process. Do you have clients when they come to you that they want, 100% intelligent automation with AI, or are they kind of willing to have a human babysitter watch it for a bit and retrain it, and then once you're happy, maybe let it loose and make it autonomous?
I don't know exactly if I'm not in the bubble, but when it comes to the clients, usually they are very, very beginner when it comes to the usage. They ask
Mm,
me what can be done.
right.
They do not tell me, oh, automate everything. They almost say, let's test if it's even useful here.
Yeah.
That's the main, I guess,
Mm,
sentiment.
yeah. Okay. Cool. So as we get into the wrap up, tell people where they can find out more about you and how to get in touch if they want to chat.
I guess the best place is LinkedIn because I'm active there, and if someone wants to talk to me, I'm always open for discussions.
Hmm.
I even did a lot of meetings with critics. I just tell them, okay, I will show you.
Hmm.
Let's meet up. I will show exactly what I'm doing, why it works. Yeah, I also open to doing something like this, which is maybe original thing, but if someone want to contact me, LinkedIn is the best place to get me.
Good. Good, awesome. Yeah, that's very healthy. I think the more we have debates with, the pro hype and the anti hype, the better. Like try to meet somewhere in the middle. Forget the extremes. Um, your mileage may vary depending on how you use it. So yeah, very much appreciate the time, and thanks a lot for the chat.
Thanks a lot.